Welcome to the Switch Grocery Show. I'm Neha, and this is likely our final show. I think you're here because you know Switch Grocery. If you don't know Switch Grocery, well, we're an online store and we bring hard to find, low carb, grain free, gluten free food products before other large grocery stores. I love that intro. I'm gonna miss doing it. This is our quote unquote last show before our store is pausing. So if you don't know, I hope you know by now. We are pausing our store, and okay, I'm gonna try very hard to get through this show without crying, but I can do it. We're pausing our store, and today's show is all about me telling you why we've paused, why we're pausing, what happened, because it was all happening very underground. For a while, we couldn't talk about it. It was an open audit. Yep, Switch Grocery was audited, you guys. We were audited. So I'm going to be talking a lot about the audit. I'm going to try to get through it. I'm going to give you as much detail as possible while respecting that process. Yeah, everything is 30% off. We're out of a lot of things, but our store is still on. So I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about what needs for us to happen to come back. I'm going to talk about how we're feeling emotionally as a family, obviously as a team. And then I'm going to talk about the best part of Switch and the hardest part of Switch, grocery, running a company, and just Switch. So, and hopefully we can all just chat and raise a little glass. I poured a little vino for myself. Hi, everybody. Let me put, so we're live on Facebook, YouTube. We're all about our store pausing live. If you haven't been to one of these shows before, the way it works is we spend the first 10 minutes talking about the hardest part of the week, the most easiest, best part of the week, and then I say hi to everybody, and then we get into the show, which tonight is all about our store pausing. So thank you so much for being here. I'm going to go through everyone who's here. Lisa Delina's in the house. Good evening, Lisa. Matt Wilkie's in the house. Hi, Matt. Nice to see you here. Greg is in the building. He says, evening all, raising a glass to Switch Grocery Canada tonight and keeping them in my thoughts through all this. Cheers. You can't make me cry right away. Stop, Greg. You can't do that, okay? So we're not going to make Neha cry tonight. Although feelings are okay. It's okay to cry, but I got to get through the show, you guys. And it's positive. It's a positive show. I promise. Cheers, Neha, to climbing this mountain and seeing the vista from the top. Thank you, Susan. Hi, Susan. Susan is in the house. Lori Olson is in the house. Hi, Lori. It's so great to see you. Rachel is here in the house. Hi, Rachel. I talked to you all day today. Jacqueline's in the house, who always watches our shows on replay. And she already says, cheers to the comeback. So I'm so happy to see you here. Can everybody hear me fine? Send me a heart. Give me all of the things. And I'm just going through Instagram. I'm so excited. Paula's here. Amanda. Amit is here. Hi, Amit. Nice to see you. I see your stories all the time. You're so amazing. Thank you so much. Lisa Deline, are you also on Instagram and YouTube? Marin, Mindfully Marin is here. Marin, we love you. You've shopped with us for 6 years and you are my friend. Amanda says she already misses it. No, I know. Today, people have been telling me, guys, I had to order my own keto brains from the US, okay? Let me just show you. So I can't, where is it? I think Brian already put it away, but I ordered 3 bags of this and I paid $40 of duties. So it cost me like 200 Canadian, 200 something Canadian. I paid like 45 UPS shipping. Then I paid like $35, $40 of broker fees. So yeah, that was the reason for our company. And Amanda says, stop, I'm going to miss these weekly shows. Sheena Ray is in the house. Sheena Ray, you've been such a supportive like customer friend. Like, you have no idea. There have been times where you've been posting and I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going through an audit. I don't know what to do. So, all right, let's talk about it. What happened? What happened? So let's go back to, okay, our Chief Happiness Officer wants to also say hi. So I thought I would bring her in. Brian, who is my co-founder and my husband, is upstairs, my partner. He's upstairs with our almost 4-year-old, and he really wants to come say hi and drink some wine. So he said he's going to try to put Mason down fast and then come down and join us. And he hasn't joined us on a show, so please stick around because you'll see the two of us together and maybe and how we work. And I know he's been responding to all of customer service right now. We've had a first one Google 1-star review because we had to refund half an order. We're now getting to the part of inventory where we may run out of a few things. Sorry, that was my bank calling. We may run out of a few things, so we may not be able to, we may have to refund an order. Okay, sorry, I'm digressing. I'm totally digressing. Let's get to it. Let's talk about it. So here's what happened. In 2020, there was an act that came into effect. It was called Safe Food for Canadians. And that, as part of that act, there was an implementation. And the implementation plus enforcement, the enforcement is done by Canada Food Inspection Agency. I'm going to try to talk as briefly about this. In 2020, they didn't really care because people were dying of COVID and they wanted to make sure that people would stay alive. In 2021, they said that they would probably likely go after the high-risk meat and cheese companies. In 2023, we are what you would consider a low-risk company as such because we import closed products. We don't do, there's no, prepared meals, there's no meat, cheeses, things that could be considered high risk. We don't import dairy products. They have 300% import fees anyways. So we have always known that, no, I don't want to say that we've always known. So let me just think this through. We know that we obviously want to work with our suppliers to get bilingual labeling. This is a federal requirement. It is not just for products sold in Quebec. It's a federal requirement. So essentially, we've always, again, sorry guys, this is why I was thinking about this live show and what I'm going to say. But we've had this issue, and as part of this audit, no, I don't want to close Instagram. It was my daily limit. And as part of this, we had to. Okay, guys, so I'm very sorry. I'm going to drink a little bit of wine. Cheers. This is live, and I'm going to have some water. All right. Okay. So if you remember, in February, we were in the middle of a forced reno. Our house leaked, all of that stuff. When we finished it and moved back in, at the same time, we also got this audit request. And they were very great. They were able to push it off. Well, we said we have a young son. We are in the middle of a family emergency, and we were able to pull it off. However, I would say as we went through this process, we realized that there is many products that are sold in Canada without bilingual labeling, actually without even proper labeling. It is kind of normal in some places. And it's almost like accepted that that's okay. Now, of course, that's not okay. It's not in accordance with the law, but that's industry practice. So it is difficult sometimes to work with suppliers who are already operating in a high inflation environment to change and invest more in labeling. And I think that's really the core of it. The core of it is what happened was we passed the audit, yay. All of our suppliers adhere to the quality standards. We have all the quality documentation. Everything is good. But we cannot continue. We've made the choice and decision that it is too risky. It's too risky for us to continue to operate oh shoot. It says that YouTube had the video stuck on thumbnail until now. Oh, Matt, I'm so sorry. That is interesting. So that's weird. Yes, there should be. So I'm broadcasting right now to LinkedIn and to Facebook. So hopefully check those, and they should. So I'm stepping back. It's hard to talk. It's hard to get through this. Yes, that was just affecting me. Okay, good, Matt, because I was like, oh my gosh, if this video is already hard enough this live is hard enough for me. So I'm hoping that it's going out all okay. Can everyone hear me properly on Instagram? Please say yes if you can. So essentially, I guess there's this requirement. It has been industry practice that labeling hasn't been a priority. With the pandemic plus, all of inflation, this is where all of this becomes a challenge, right, you guys? There's a lot of regulations, and to put those place, to implement those, there's a cost. And ultimately, somebody has to pay for that. So who is usually that person? Well, it's usually, surprise, the customer. So for example, at some point, and you guys know the food chain, right? Like there's the ingredients, then there's the manufacturer, then there's the retailer, which is us, and then it comes to you. Everybody along the way, everybody needs to make a living, and so they take some. But the problem is, if you start to increase your price because you need to put packaging on, that's going to be a charge that you need to somehow pass back. So anyway, that's kind of why I understand that it may not have been a priority for everybody, but I think we're just now in a place, like after we went through this audit, we had a really great lawyer that we worked with. And, the way that he explained it to me was, this is just the law. So you need to make a choice. People in the industry say a lot of things, right? Because when you talk to people in the industry, they're like, listen, it's not a big deal. You can kind of get around it. Sure. But when you talk to a lawyer who really interprets the act, it really is, this is just the law. So Brian and I both sat down, this very, very difficult decision, you guys. We sat down after the audit, and we started to talk to our suppliers, and they started to tell us that it's going to take some time to do this, if this is, which they all understand. And they were difficult conversations, but just we had to have them, because all of them knew we were going through it. Because the minute you get audited, you kind of you tell your suppliers, and you're like, hey, looking at my documents, all of that, just checking in and all of that. So anyway, we sat down and we had this conversation where we said that it's really difficult for us to import. And I'll talk to you about, Lisa says risk tolerance for accountants. Nope, lol. I mean, it's true, right? Like I have, I'm also, okay, Lisa, I understand what you're saying, but I may not say that on the live. And I'm really sorry, you guys. This is a rough one for me to do, because I also want to respect the audit process, and I want to respect the law, and I want to respect everything. So I respect the governing bodies, I respect the enforcement, like all of that. And I respect that everybody has a job to do. So it's hard for me to kind of openly talk about, yeah, of course, any audit is stressful. Of course, going through any audit, is a stressful thing. But on the other side, I think having been in the industry for 7 years, what I'm very much struggling with is that I don't see a path for independent grocery stores like SwitchGrocery to continue to operate in a way that's profitable, and where we have a healthy margin, and we have a healthy cash flow, especially, of course, with inflation in the last 3 years. So speaking very, very transparently now, it has been difficult. And what's been difficult about the last 3 years is you guys have seen our prices. Like a bag of keto chow used to be $99. Burlap and barrel spices used to be, $11.99, for example. And we've increased all of them, like $14.99. A bag is $135.99. Like, this is a really hefty price increase. And you would hope that this would cover the increase in costs. But every time Brian and I would try to say, okay, like, we're going to change shipping. We're going to change shipping from like $100 to 125, and that'll help. And we're going to, put in place, we're going to find a cheaper. All of you complained about Revo, the Air Canada carrier, but Revo saved us a bunch of money, right? So we tried to put in a lot of things where we were optimizing and optimizing and optimizing. And I have to tell you, this is so hard for me to say, it wasn't working, because it was not working in the sense of all of that money was not dropping to the bottom line, which is something that you've heard a lot of other small stores say, which is they've had to shut down because of profitability. Now, we didn't shut down because of that. First of all, we're not shutting down. We're pausing the store, but it is definitely a factor where we said, okay, so if we can't import anymore, we need to go back and look at how to do this differently, because we want to be around for a long time, and we want to be profitable, and we want to be sustainable. But we also have market forces to deal with, which is people buy when there's a sale. People buy because you guys have to watch your own budget. I'm watching my budget. I don't know anybody who's not watching their budget. So people buy more when there's a sale. People are more sensitive to prices. Everything has increased. Their interest rates are up. So we have to somehow think through, like, this is what Brian and I are hoping to do over the next 3 months while working with suppliers, and they take their time in terms of getting the translation done, which, by the way, is a cost, is about $600 to $1,000 per product. So they need to do that for each product. In some ways, some cases we're splitting or contributing. In other cases, the brands can do that on their own. I'm encouraging that. And then we basically bring them back. And hopefully we bring them back all at once or slowly. But that's basically what I was saying. Oh, shoot. I have Caroline. So I have a question. Can labels not be printed and placed on the outgoing products? As you sell, make printing part of the shipping process. Yes. So Caroline, that's a great question. There's two things. So one, there's a cost of the translation of the label. So first, we do need to involve our suppliers. Technically, this is a process that a manufacturer takes on. So a company, for example, like Burlap, for example, which has, 20 SKUs, 20 different lines, would need to take that on, because that would cost, I think gave you an estimate, $600 to $1,000 a label. Even if you found that cheaper, you then need to get the labels printed, and then you need the labor of putting it on. We don't fulfill ourselves. I used to pack orders ourselves, and all of this adds up. So to put a sticker on, I think if you work in a fulfillment center, it's like $30 to put it on. And again, it's not $30, 30 cents per sticker. So then per application. So then you're thinking about it and you're like, okay, now do I pass that on? What about the cost of printing the stickers? What about the original cost of translation? So these are all things that we made a decision where we didn't want to take that risk on. Also for our suppliers, we want our suppliers to make that decision, because ultimately this is the thing with SwitchGrocery. These are not our products. They are they're not Switch. We don't manufacture these products, right? We love them and adore them. We adore and love all our suppliers, but we are not them. And we really, in this stage of Switch and going through this audit process, wanted the manufacturers. It's the manufacturer's decision if they want to sell in Canada, if they want to, continue in Canada. And I think the other hard part that makes this challenging, just to build on that. Oh my gosh, guys, my accounting voice coming out, just to build on that. But what makes this also challenging is I had a point. Manufacturers. Okay, I will try to remember that point. Kelly, proud of you. Thank you, sweetheart. I just saw your missed call. I'm proud of you too. I'm proud of me too. And Adriana says, if you want, we can sell your customers Marinelli sauce made here in Canada at a special Switch price. Definitely. We wanted to carry you guys. Oh my gosh, now I just have to go and be a customer for now. And then we also have ChatGPT does great translations, and then a Quebec-based reviewer on Fiverr save costs that way. That's totally true, and I know that a lot of our suppliers are being super creative and finding that. Another question, this is really interesting, I wanted to talk to you about was Amazon. So a lot of companies can sell on Amazon, right? Okay, so this was my question where I said, well, what about people who sell on Amazon? Like, they don't food products and they don't have bilingual labeling. interesting. But now there's a crackdown on Amazon that Amazon is also needs to verify that there's bilingual labeling. So very, very interesting. Also, Adriana has a good point. The label needs to be applied at the country of origin. So, Adriano, there was one retailer we talked to who said that if the manufacturer doesn't want to do that, then could do it here. But we, again, to Adriana's point, we really don't want to be doing that. We want to be importing products that are already compliant from a labeling perspective. No, I'm not going to say compliant, that have resolved this labeling issue. And do the regulators need different nutrition facts tables? Yes, they do. In Canada, there's different nutrition facts tables. In Canada, there's also different ways that allergens are disclosed. There's like, this is like, again, I could talk about this for hours, but there's two more things that I will say on this. One is that there is a trade agreement between Canada, US, and Mexico. It was called NAFTA, the North American Free Trade Agreement. Under Donald Trump, there was the it changed to the USMCA, the United States, Mexico, Canada agreement, and it's supposed to encourage the free flow of goods across borders. However, the reason it doesn't is because the reason that obviously it still needs some work. When it comes to food products, there's no agreement on labeling. For example, the way allergens are disclosed. For example, how certain things are presented, like nutrition facts tables and things like measurements and things like that. So it's not just a bilingual issue. They're like, you need to also just make sure that somebody's looking at your packaging to be that it's compliant. A good example was actually our lawyer gave us actually was that there's a company in Italy who's exporting cheese and baked goods, baked bags, baking mixes, and they're actually paying here to get that done before in Italy and then doing the shipment. So, so that's one. The second thing that I want to talk about, which is very interesting, is as SwitchGrocery, we import products. So there are some stores, again, industry practice. There's some stores who everything goes to Buffalo and there's some sort of pickup. I don't know what that is. I can't do that because it would be very difficult for me to drive a truck across Buffalo and bring like keto chow across the border undeclared. And I don't think that's what companies are doing, but very underground. When I talk to some stores, that is what they're doing. So, or what I don't know is how does it come from Buffalo here? So that's not something that we've ever done. We've had a great customs broker. We've always declared everything. We've paid customs fees at the border. We've imported legally. That's why we carry a importer's license, which is why we got this audit. So again, now, is it industry practice that some stores, I don't know, this kind of sounds weird, but do some stores like smuggle pallets of food across the border? I don't know, you guys. Like this is why I need to have a drink because I don't know, right? And our lawyer said something really interesting. He's like, just focus on yourselves. Because I first thought that a competitor called us in. Now the wine is hitting me. No, it's not hitting me. I'm kidding. But, first you think when you're audited, you're like, did a competitor call you in? Like it's what's happening or whatever the case is. And later we found out that's not the case. It's just that it is going to become more and more difficult for companies to do this without bilingual labeling, because if you have an importer's license, now if you don't have an importer's license and you're bringing product in illegally, good for you. You could fly under the radar longer, unlike us. But if you're trying to do it, sorry, I'm just putting on my aircon because it's getting hot. But if you're trying to do it like, legally, then you are going to get inspected. And then Adriano says, yes, they do smuggle, and a very, very good point. He said that it could be stopped by customs at customs by CFIA. Yeah, like we don't want to really be stopped at customs. That's never happened. And then Greg says, I admire that you're trying to go about this whole process in a level-headed and rational way and not risking getting caught cutting corners. It can't be easy, but it'll pay off in the end. Thank you so much, Greg, because okay, so first when this happened, you guys, first when we got the audit request, we're like, whatever, we'll deal with it. Then we're like, oh, we have everything, whatever, you know? And then as time progressed, I sat like I I couldn't sleep. Like I really, again, I will try really hard not to cry about this, but I didn't sleep for probably 2 weeks. Like I've run SwitchGrocery for 7 years and I just turned 40. So this is like my baby since I was 33 years old, right? Like I started this company because I wanted these food products. I wanted more access to food products. And I saw that there were great products like Mindful Monk, Fudge Squares, like Canadian brands, small Canadian brands that I wanted to carry that can't get into a Loblaws because Loblaws charges $50,000 per SKU to list the product, right? That's where I think strategically there's a really good place for small independent grocery stores. It is to carry products like Keto Chow or products like Mindful Monk from Vancouver or Sweet Monk from Vancouver, you know, which are not in mass grocery stores. It's probably not to carry a Fatso peanut butter, which is in grocery stores. You know, basically across the maybe Farm Girl now I'm seeing in grocery stores. So maybe that's something that we not don't carry, but it's to carry these products that don't have the margin to go all the way to be available at a large chain. And that's great, right? Like that's really what Switch was all about when I started it 7 years ago. So I think when this happened and I saw a little bit of the end, you know, I was like laying in bed next to Brian and I literally stared into space and I thought about the first room that I rented at a place called Food Starter, which was a darker warehouse, and packing boxes myself. I had a smart car. I drove the first orders to the UPS, trying to make it for 4:30 p.m. and you know, and then moving to a little smaller, bigger space. Some people might remember Women on the Move, which was at Dundas West. We had like amazing, incredible meetups. Megan Ramos, um, talking about diabetes, doing a cookout with Good D's, Dina and Oscar, like doing a cookout at Tom and Sawyer Pet Food Company in Toronto. Like we really had such a great run. And in the pandemic really put us on the map. We lucked out because, you know, not all Canadians were comfortable buying food online, but then they all had to. It was like 1%, and then it went to 10%. And you know, our company went through the roof. We raised a bit of money, like through Clearco, which by the way is also now not doing as well, you know, because they fund e-commerce companies. Or so, you know, I was staying up all these nights, like just thinking about all these moments, all the people that have come through Switch, our team members, you know, like Bree has her own company now. She's doing fucking amazing. And we hired someone who moved here from Turkey as a refugee, and she's doing great now. And we hired an incredible person who was pregnant at the time, and she's now, you know, running her own clinic. And we hired Joseph, and he's now doing SEO for Shopify. Like there's like team members that we've actually hired who've gone on and done such great things, and all of them came through my face, like my eyes, like at night. I thought about them. I thought about you guys and how am I going to tell our customers. I thought about talking to our suppliers. Like Greg, it was such an emotional time, but I also thought about the fact that if okay, like super 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 emotional. And I didn't even know that, like, okay, I'm just going to share this, but my dad passed away when I was very young. And so when I am in trouble, when I'm in deep trouble, or just I don't know what to do, I usually, you know, put my hand out and I'm like, Dad, like, are you around? Like, can you help me out here? Like, come have a drink with me, like, figure this out with me, you know? And I put my hand out during the reno that was happening and I said, something's up with Switch. I can't figure it out. You know, we've increased prices. Like, okay, I didn't say this to my dad like at midnight, but I basically was like, I need some help with Switch. Like, I need some help to figure out the next step for Switch. And essentially, it was this audit. It's just so it was weird because it was like a lot of pain to fucking figure. Sorry, I hope you guys don't mind I'm swearing, but it's a lot of pain to figure something out. But you know, that's kind of so. All to say, Greg, I've gone through like these emotions of I don't think I'm a failure and I don't think Switch is a failure. We have done over $1 million in sales consistently over many years. That has funded students, employees, our suppliers, our vendors, customs fees, like we pay GST, like we have had a good run, right? And I'm really proud of that. Like I wouldn't take that away. I'm really, really proud of that. And I'm so proud of all of the customer friends that we have. Like you guys have just, on my hardest days, I think of all of you who come and trust Switch and just come place an order. You know, when you get an order on your Shopify phone and you're like, ding, and you're like, oh my gosh, you know, it's a whole new feeling that you don't experience normally, you know. So I just want to say, like, I don't regard that as a failure. And so after 2 weeks of not sleeping and kind of going all, you know, went a little silent on social media. I literally wrote that blog post, and you can find the link to that blog post. I explained everything as logically as I could. You know, I worked on getting through the audit, and then Brian and I talked, and we were like, this is the only way for us, because we can't risk importing. That's a lot of personal risk, you guys. And, you know, I don't really want to take on, like, that risk comes on me personally. There is, if you actually go read the Safe Food for Canadians Act, you can literally Google the Safe Food for Canadians Act. At the bottom, the penalty is actually, it literally says there, it's imprisonment and fines. In actuality, like, I don't think that obviously anybody wants to do that to a small business or to a family-owned business. Nobody wants to do that, right? So it has not been in actuality. But you might have heard stories that are starting to come that there's a caffeine drink that is being seized, that is being recalled right now because it has too much caffeine. It's being marketed to kids. So there is some sort of crackdown that's happening. And I think the way that act has been implemented so far has been to be penalties. But the goal of the enforcement agencies really is to use that act to help small businesses get to compliance, not to put a family-owned business out of business. Like, that's not the case. So I know I'm going a little bit all over the place. So coming back to asking my dad for help and then this coming, I think my hope is that once we close down the store, we're going to the warehouse tomorrow. We're going to see everything we have in stock, and then I'm going to send out like a 40 to 50% off. Like, we're going to put things in stock, and then I'm going to send out a 40 or 50% off last call. And then basically that will generate some cash, and then we'll pause the store. That's the plan. Then I can take some time, because I need 3 to 6 months, right? Like, I need to work with the US suppliers, and then Brian and I need to sit down and take some time and say, okay, so if we do this many sales of keto chow or keto brick, we're selling Kaizen on Amazon, or if we do it on Amazon, if we do it on our store, like, at what margin, what are our costs? Like, how can we make sure that we're profitable sustainably? You know, so that's sort of what I'm hoping this was a sign for. Oh my gosh, you guys, I hope I'm not saying too much. I hope this is enough, but you know, this is, Greg, like, this is kind of where I went. Like, I was super upset about it, but now I'm like, okay, I think that something better will come out of this. I don't know what that is yet. So I don't know what that is yet, but I'm hoping. Adriana says, this is very stressful. Give me a call. I will. Thanks I don't want to put your number on blast, but thank you. I'll call you. Unfortunately, the way the markets are today, high manufacturing costs, how many American companies do you actually see making this change? Okay, so Carolyn, I actually see, there's another question actually that just came, and it is from Greg. How's the feedback been so far from US suppliers generally? Okay, guys, Keto Chow is on board. Keto Brick is on board. I believe like we're going to start working with Burlap and Joy. So most of our bigger suppliers are on board. I'm not sure yet about Keto Grains, which sucks because I like love them. But again, like for example, fat crackers, real fat foods, they may not be able to do it. So I think some of the larger US brands will not have a problem. Goodies is doing it. Goodies Baking Mixes, Dina is going for it. So far, the response from our U.S. suppliers has been very good. It is just going to take time because it's the same thing. So they need to get the translation done. Then you need to design packaging, or sticker. But most of them want new packaging, which means that's a little bit of work because then you have to print. You have to get the package designed. Then you got to print the package and bag it and do separate runs for Canada, right? So that's going to take some time. Like I'm just going to use Dina as an example. Could she do bilingual goodies, cornbread, brownie, all at once, different SKUs? Like that's a lot of investment in inventory. So every US supplier, I think, will make a decision. I think that what they're going to do is do their top 3 first. So they're going to say, what are our top 3 sellers in Canada? Let's go do them first. And so, yes, there is Jonah says that, hi, Jonah, I'm quite upset over the Keto Chow, such bull crap. So this is the problem, which may mean that we won't have Keto Chow's newest flavors available to us right away. Right now, I think they would just work on doing the first 3. Like basically that would be it. So are Canadians going to get the same amount of selection? Maybe not right off the bat, but definitely. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. I might have said too much. Brian's here, and I'm like, ooh, have I said too much? I'm like, have I said too much to my co-founder? And Lisa says, yay for Keto Chow and Keto Brick. Thank you, Lisa. I'm really excited. Matt Wilkie says, yay for Keto Chow. And Matt knows this. Like Matt started shopping with us when we were carrying only 3 to 4 flavors. And he was like, excuse me, where's your other flavors? I would like some. So yes, it's really nice to be able to, we may have to start the same way, Matt. And then Jacqueline said, Chris already shared today from Casey. Yep, I have heard that he did. And Karen says, I have a feeling that something really good will come from this. Thank you, Karen. I really appreciate that. And Karen also says, you're not a failure. Thank you. Cynthia Chu, one of my longtime friends from my accounting days, says, you're a rock star, Neha. We're rooting for you. Thank you so much, Cynthia. Like, thank you. Please keep rooting for me. I need all the rooting, guys. Root for me, please. Root for me. Root for Bri. Don't forget the donations to charities. You've done so much good. Honey, look. Greg says I've done so much good.
That's good.
Look, why don't you say I've done so much good? And I just want to make sure. Yes. So Lisa says you've done great. Kathy says, I've never dealt with a business with someone that ended up feeling like family to me. Kathy, you're amazing and have continued to make us all feel like we were the most important people. You are the most important people, Kathy. Kathy is, again, like long time. Like I met her in Sudbury and I just met her at the meetup and she gave me a big hug and said, good luck with the audit. Well, Kathy, look where I am now. And Jess says, I'm proud of you for taking a pause and doing the thing. Excited to see how you flip the switch when you come back. So if you guys want to see the person who came up with the flip the switch, it actually wasn't me. It was.
Oh, I have to come in?
Yeah. Tada. He's going to poop soon.
We did already.
Oh, really?
I'm done.
Hi. Brian's on live, you guys.
I did it once before.
You did do once before. Yeah. So this is Brian, and he came up with flip the switch. So I said flip switch. So I was like, okay, we need a campaign. Like we need to have a I am not going down like this. I'm going to come up with something. And then I made a folder. We use Outlook, right? Like Microsoft and Google Drive. Our shit's all over the place. But like so I made a folder called Flip Switch. And Brian was like, flip the switch. He just added which was so.
That's my whole contribution.
It was, and it worked. Flip the switch.
We'll see if it worked.
Lisa calls us the most creative accountants she's ever seen.
That's really not saying much.
That's not saying much, Lisa, but from you, we'll take it. Brian will be in and out because he's looking at our monitor. And there, Greg goes, he has a face.
I've been here before. Briefly.
Once. I had to run
Twice.
I had to run through the bathroom, and that's what happened.
Yeah.
And then I was like, guys, I have to go bathroom. And then Brian came and tried something.
Yeah. So I've done it. It's not my fault that Greg wasn't paying attention.
So Mary says, awesome contribution. Look, honey, when men do things. Guys, this is like art imitates life. Men come up with like the one. I'm kidding. I tease Brian about this all the time. Nice call out. Flip the switch. And then Rachel says, solid move, Brian. I like it. The bathroom fill-in was great when you came over. Okay. So we've made it through our agenda. We said why are we taking a pause? What needs to happen for us to come back, Brian? Tell us.
Labels.
Labels.
It'll take time.
I've also told them about a little bit of the profitability issues.
That needs to change.
That needs to change. Because ultimately, guys, here's the thing, okay? We don't need to become millionaires from Switch. That is not what we want to do. I'd love that.
Well, it'd be nice.
It'd be nice, but it's not happening. You have to come like in frame a little bit. Well, it's whatever, it's good. So
I'm on that one.
Yeah, you're on that one. So we have to labels, and then there's a little bit of conversation about profitability. Sheena Ray says he's not really showing himself. And anything we can do as customers. Interesting. So I think Jacqueline is asking that. And I think that Matt said something too, where he said, is there any sort of advocacy we can do reaching out to ask for exceptions for small businesses, etc.? Great question.
There really isn't right now because the CFIAs, yeah, they are what they are.
Well, it's like our lawyer said, it's the law.
Yeah.
So like, I think there's a couple of things. One,
like we'll have, so depressingly, Keto Chow will be the last one that comes back.
Yeah. Because
they have the most work. We'll have a few others sooner.
Yeah.
May not be, we'll have to figure out if we open Switch for that or not, but
yeah.
Keto Chow will be the longest.
There's one thing that I think you can do. There's a website and it's called saveoursupplements.ca. I was trying to share screen. Let me see if I can share screen and pull this up. Okay. It's called Save Your Supplements. And this is really kind of natural health products where what's happening is that there's even more new regulations that are going to come into effect for them. And we will be carrying some natural health products.
We'd like to.
So here is a website. It's called saveyoursupplements.ca. Saveoursupplements.ca. And this is Save Our SOS. Health Canada is strangling natural health products and red tape, leading to increased products and fewer products on store shelves for Canadians. Send a letter to your elected official. And my understanding is natural health products are also like vitamin D and things like that. Like this even affects, what are NHPs? There you go, guys. Natural health products are products like vitamins, minerals, probiotics, herbals, traditional homeopathic medicines, and topical toothpaste like sunscreen. And so again, this would be a really great, Matt, this would be a great website for you to look at. Thank you for asking, first of all. And Jacqueline, thank you for asking too. This would be, what did I do? Yeah. So I think that is the biggest thing I see coming to us in 2 years, which, guys, that'll increase our costs even more. Like we can't charge you so much money and expect to sell. It's not going to work.
No one's going to buy Keto Chow at $180 a bag.
$250? Would you buy Keto Chow at $250? You won't. So, that's the biggest thing I think, if you can help us. Also, we had a 1-star Google review today. So if someone could go leave us a Google review that's not 1 star, because we refunded half this guy's order. And he's like, I ordered from you from the first time. I'm like, buddy, we're closing down right now. So like you ordered from us at the worst time. And Sheena Ray says, you're doing a great job. of hiding how you really feel, being discreet and professional. I think maybe I am in a better place than I was when it happened. Like, when I tell you there were some nights where Brian was like, we just need to watch TV so we can like stop talking about this. I just think I'm genuinely in a better place than I was like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. I was not in a good place. And I just needed to process a lot of that on my own, which is why I went silent on social media. Like, I really needed to take some time for myself to work through that. How are you feeling emotionally?
Excited to deal with this and figure out what's next.
Yeah.
Sick of trying to deal with this and excited to see what we can do next.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Like, we're kind of past the like, okay, this has happened. We need to like move on. And okay, a lot of you know about, Sheena Ray says they signed the petition at our ND's office. Marin says the same thing. And then Tanya's asking, what are the translation guidelines, specific companies or independent?
So there's two laws in Canada on labeling. There's the federal and there's Quebec. Quebec is obviously more restrictive. And if you want to sell in Quebec, you got to go Quebec. So the federal is the nice to have, but if you want to sell all over Canada, you have to meet the Quebec guidelines.
Yeah. And Greg says, I think the biggest advocacy we can do as customers is reaching out to our U.S. suppliers and letting them know there is demand for their products in Canada. Let our voices be heard.
Yep.
That is really great. Yep. Yeah. And, you know, they're busy. So this is unfortunately going to be a project for them.
Yeah.
And as you guys know, in your own workplaces, projects go on to-do lists. So anything that you could do in terms of emailing suppliers directly, like I think what are 7 or 8?
So we're working with, I don't know, Kaizen, Keto Chow, Keto Brick, probably Joy. I need to respond to them.
Yeah. And we're going to start with talking to Burlap.
Yep.
Burlap and Barrel, and we're definitely missing someone already.
Probably.
Yes, we're missing someone, but we are working with a bunch of them already. Goodies.
Yep.
So yes, so we're and then okay, Adriana says he's got to go back to bottling line. Adriana, good luck. And then John says they had large bags on Amazon for $400.
Yeah, those are being shipped by a third-party retailer in the U.S. into Canada. So
amazing.
They're not. Now there are some people selling Keto Chow electrolytes on Amazon because they would buy them from us.
Yeah.
And then sell them on Amazon.
And jack up the price.
Yeah. So those will go away.
Yeah.
But anything you see on Amazon for Keto Chow is, and they don't know who it is, but it's a third party selling into Canada from Amazon and charging a crazy amount.
Yeah. I'm sorry, you guys, but we're not going to be Brian and I can't drive to Buffalo and bring you products. I'm sorry. Look at
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but we won't be doing that. Okay, so our next question is, what has been the best part of Switch? The hardest part we've talked about. Actually, we haven't talked about. Let's end with the best part. Let's talk about the hardest part of Switch. I'm thinking.
For me, it's been in the last year because it was a race to try to keep up with all the price increases.
Yeah.
And that got frustrating. Like, our warehouse doubled or tripled, and we couldn't keep up, just like everyone. So
even just shipping, like our shipping charges, I was telling them we use Revo.
Whatever it was, that cut our shipping by 30%.
Sorry, guys. We got so many complaints. I'd be like, Brian, people are complaining about Revo. And he's like, I don't care. It's 30% cheaper and nobody wants to pay for shipping. And I'm like, this is true. But people are complaining about Revo, which is an Air Canada product.
It's Air Canada cargo.
It's Air Canada. So you're complaining about Air Canada, which touche.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, touche. And the hardest part about Switch for me has been, it's really interesting. I'm thinking this through. What has been the hardest? I think it depends on the stages. So in the early days, it was like packing all the orders and getting them out. It was the customer service. It was,
I miss packing orders.
Oh my gosh, yeah. At one point.
It was like you didn't have to think. You just did that.
Yeah. Brian would come home from work and then I'd be like, I can't do this. And he would like literally change from his jacket, his like suit jacket. And he would like go, sometimes you pack in your suit jacket. And he would go to our office space, warehouse space, and just like pack a bunch of orders. And then I would get mad at you when you missed one thing. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about that. Our warehouse makes more mistakes, of course, than Brian. So I'm sorry about that. We used to write love notes to everybody.
Sorry, Marin. I do not miss those.
Why?
Those were so much work.
I hung on to them so long. Like I was like, I'm going to write every one of our customers' notes. And Brian was like, you can't do this anymore. I'm like, I don't care. Like we were like doing that to like 5,000 orders.
We were doing that until
7,000?
Just after Mason was born.
Yeah.
In like November 2019.
Yeah.
When we moved to the warehouse, to the new warehouse.
I think the hardest part for me has been mental, probably, because it's hard to watch. Like, again, we had such a good run. It's been hard, like Bri said. I'm copying what you said. But it's hard to watch. You're like, hey, we're doing everything. Like, are we profitable? Are we profitable? Like, it's been hard every month to watch the numbers like that. And dealing with the price increases. So I agree with you.
Yep.
Because I think running a company is very stressful. I mean, I remember in when was Trump elected? 2016.
No idea.
2016, I think. But like, I remember I was just like, why is he putting tariffs on chocolate? And like, it was the weird.
That was Trudeau in retaliation.
Yeah, that was Trudeau who put it on. But I was like, why is this affecting my small business? Like, Coca-Cola had tariffs. Like,
they still do. They never got rid of them.
Cool. So like, yay tariffs. No, they put in a 10% customs fee.
Yeah, they never got rid of that.
Cool. Chocolate. Amazing. Cool. So I think the hard part for me with Switch was something is always going wrong all the time.
Yeah.
And that I found hard. Okay. So Greg says these live streams started out in early COVID as Zoom calls when we were all working from home. 100%. It's been so great to them to turn into what they are. This is true. Thank you. And Greg says, sorry about the coupon code thing.
I have no idea.
He doesn't remember. People are mad at Brian right now in customer service because he's just refunding some things. Like where he's just like, and I even got one from you. I may have them somewhere. Oh, those notes. See, she might have a note from you. Could you even read his writing? It's like chicken scratch, basically.
I wrote it nicely then.
And then what has been the best part of Switch? What's been the app? So this is our last question, you guys. So it would be, drop it in the chat. What's been your favorite part of Switch? Because it would be really nice after these hard 4 weeks to read that. Or just like nice to share so we know as we make the comeback and that we can keep some of that. What's been the best part of Switch? What are you looking? Oh, Matt. Okay. For what it's worth, I'm personally more willing to absorb a price increase on Switch foods than other stuff in life because I value my health. I buy less fast food, reuse things, etc. Matt, thank you, Matt. And you know what? It's helpful for us to know that. The one your grandma used. Oh, he came up with a code. There was a code. Yeah. Okay, I know. I'll remind him.
I don't remember what it is.
For pilly nuts.
Yeah. I don't remember what it is.
And then your grandma used it. Yeah. Do you remember what the code is, Greg?
No.
You can put it in the chat. It's okay.
I'm
Karen,
sure it's in our system.
Karen says, I'm not mad at you about my order. Ooh, you want to tell her what you did for her?
Yeah, Snacker is going to ship you the 20 because we're out.
Yeah, so we short shipped Karen 20 Snacker Yogis, cheddar cheese, because I said I'd put them aside. The warehouse was like, no, we didn't. We are so packing like really fast because they're 30% off. We're getting a lot of orders every day. Thank you for that. We're doing really well at 30% off. And so Karen, we short shipped Karen 20 Snacker Yogis, but Brian's going to get our supplier to ship them. Oh my God.
What is it? I can't see. Oh yeah.
So Greg came up with a thing on the chat saying D's nuts, and Brian's grandma entered that as a coupon code.
Yeah. I don't think she knew what it was.
I don't think she knew. She might be watching, hon. She might be watching. So maybe let's not say that. Greg says I'm dying laughing right now. And yeah, okay. So best part. Maybe you can help us. Best part, how genuine you have always been, how you answer questions, and how you brought quality things to the market that we can't find anywhere else. Oh, thank you, Keto in Ontario. I need to screenshot this because I need to like keep that. And meeting you at one of the keto meetings, yes, in person, that was the best. Lisa says the meetups and community you've created, and Sheena Ray says, "Us, yes, you're the best. You are the best thing." Thank you guys. That's really, really nice. And Jacqueline says, geez, so many great things. So hard to come up with only one. So one thing I will come up with is it is probably working with people, the people we've met.
Yep.
And like the people.
It was as different as it possibly could be from me going to an accounting firm every day.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And it's different from our regular things that we've done. So just we never would have met. There's something to be said about meeting people from different backgrounds. Like I did accounting in university, so like a lot of my friends went into accounting or business or marketing, and I've just met so many different people. Like guys, the suppliers, John behind Keto Bars, Sophie from philosophy, like helped us so much. Peter and Kristen from Tom and Sawyer, like our suppliers and people in the industry who've helped us, they're just great.
Yep.
Like that's been the best part.
Yeah, we got to meet Chris and Miriam in person, and
yeah,
they played with Mason, and
yeah, it was. And then Chris made us buy a Ninja Creamy. About a Ninja Creamy. And then I think getting orders. Like it's still surreal. I was telling everybody, like it's surreal that somebody goes and places an order on Switch.
Yeah, the first few orders, it was like, really, someone is giving us their money. Like, I wouldn't do that.
I know. I was like, Brian, look. And remember when we did our first $2,000? We were like $2,000. And Rachel says, best thing about Switch is quality products packed so efficiently and delivered so quickly. You guys have helped me help my health journey. I love Rach. Oh, I know we have. And Joanna says, getting to know the faces behind the business through shows and posts.
You know what the most annoying thing now is going to be?
Yes.
We just can't take food out of the company whenever we want.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Guys.
Now we actually have to buy it.
Guys, I'm going to tell you something, okay? Our orders from Switch run in the thousands of dollars. Like, because we pay costs. We're like, whatever. Oh no, it's still expensive. Like we order, I don't want to say expensive. It's just we take so much.
We just would take so much.
We like order so much chocolate.
Oh, it used to be we had like a dozen large bags of keto chow.
Yeah.
And a bunch of the 8-pound Joy pails, and
yes,
it was a lot easier when I could just create a $0 order and ship it to myself.
Yeah, we would. After we went to, because Brian would always like steal from our office and never sign out. So, and I used to get so annoyed because I used to be like, you need to sign out products. You can't just, like, he would just walk in and just take products that he wanted.
That was when we used to have cookies.
Yeah, we had Bald Baker nutty. Oh my God, nutty chips cookies. Lori says your openness, inviting us into your home. Lori, I just snapped my fingers at you because you need to add new home to that. Because inviting us into our new home, new kitchen, as our son calls it. After this reno, I like love this kitchen. Karen says you two are so cute. Thank you, Karen. And seeing how genuinely appreciative you are of customers, big and small. Thank you, Joanna. And Greg says, seriously, though, so much love for your company, what you've done with it. Wishing you both and your team the best to pull through this and continue the amazing work you've done so far. Thank you, Greg. We're going to pull through this. And Karen says, I'm going to miss your lives. I never forget when you couldn't open the squeeze lemon. Do you remember that?
No.
I don't remember that, Karen.
But I do remember you doing squats with a Joy pail.
I did do squats with a Joy pail. Oh gosh. Brian walked in and he was like, why? What are you doing? The Donna says the live shows have been the best part. I actually made purchases solely on a live show. That's kind of sad, Donna, because I can't cook to save my life. Brian does all the cooking.
Yeah.
We should tell them.
Yeah.
Brian
I did
cooks everything. I don't make anything. Even for all the shows, he preps everything because he's better at that than I am. So I appreciate you buying after the shows. And Mark says Lucy's the best part. So let's bring Lucy. Lucy was how old when we started?
6.
6. She was employee number 1. Oh, sweetheart. She's Brian's doggy. She actually came with Brian. They were a package deal, and she had to sleep with us in bed, which she still does. She's the best. And she got the title Chief Happiness Officer, and she's kind of been that like pretty much ever since. She's now 13. She's a little hard of hearing, but
A little?
she's just no, she can hear properly.
No, she can't.
Yes, she can. Stop. Nobody cares what you think about Liz. She can hear perfectly fine. Everything's good. And Shalini says, you're so real, relatable, and I'm so happy I got to know you this past year. I love that you gave us an opportunity to partake in amazing products in the US that we would never be able to try. We love Shalini. Shalini, we need to have a coffee. It needs to happen. It's happening. And oh my gosh, there's Bree. Bree's in the house. Bree is like loose magoose. I was just thinking about you, Bree, today because literally I saw Bree posted Penny on her stories, and I'm like on the calls when I was stressed, I would just tell Bree, hold up Penny. Penny's Bree's dog, and she's the queen's a corgi. Like the queen made the corgis famous, or the corgis were already famous. I don't know, but she would hold up she would kind of hug Penny in the call, and it was just I was so just Penny brings a smile to my face. And Bree, I think you're the only person that calls Lucy Loose Magoose. Greg says all the lives when Brian was trying to get Mason to sleep and you kept dropping shit. Yes, in the early lives, I put on the fire alarm. That was really rough for me. I remember that. But yeah, I mean, I think the other best part about Switch has been working with you.
Okay. So are we going to do it again?
No. We just had an argument where I was like, I'm not working with you. I will not work with you.
No, we need a break.
We need a break, guys, from each other. And we know that, and that's healthy. Mm-hmm. That's healthy. That's healthy. Yep. It is amazing to work with your partner, but it is like what is it? On steroids. It's like working on your relationship on steroids, because you're just you gotta be the way you communicate and everything. And Bree, I remember Bree used to call us mom and dad on calls, because she's like, okay, mom and dad, this is. So Bree, thank you for putting up with us on those phone calls where we were just going back and forth. And Karen always told me to take deep breaths when I was dropping things. That's true. I'd be like, anyway, so the best part.
Just notice on the video that the kid put snot on my shirt.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
On your second appearance, you have snot.
Yep.
From a kiddo. So with that, there you go. Bree says mom and dad would argue, and I had to tell them to chill. It's not wrong. She's not wrong, guys. This happened for real. Some of our Monday calls should have just been live streams. That would have been interesting. Bree bringing an idea, and it usually was Brian and Bree ganging up on me. And sometimes I was like, guys, who's the CEO? But nobody cares. Nobody cares about my opinion, which is fine. That's fine. Okay, so that's about it. I think we're at the end. We're at an hour and 3 minutes. That was a long live, but I think we're there.
At least I got Mason to sleep during that time.
You did get Mason. Is Mason asleep?
Mm-hmm.
Let's go for a walk after this.
You can't say on the live that we're going to leave the house with a 4-year-old asleep.
We would never do that. There's a bar across the street. We've never sat at that bar with a monitor in our hands. Ever. Who would do that?
This is a live that we're not going to save.
That
is going to be deleted on all
platforms.
Why?
Well, you know what? We'll delete it in a month.
Okay.
We'll delete it in a month. And Bree, because B squared was the best. You have a nickname? B squared.
Apparently.
Yes, you did win, Bree. You did win. All right, I don't think we can. All right, guys. We're gonna go. Have a good night. I'll be at our warehouse tomorrow, and then
Yep.
we'll check what's there. We'll drop it on the site. Are we doing 40% or 50? We'll decide tomorrow.
We'll decide tomorrow depending on how much is there.
Yes.
I'll do 60% if people buy blender bottles.
Please, let's do a show of our blender bottles.
Friggin' 800 blender bottles.
Here, let me do an infomercial. I present to you a blender bottle. It is BPA free, new plastic. It has the word SwitchGrocery on it. Comes in purple, blue, navy, and inside you get a little thing. And we have 800 of them. So cool. No, it's cool. If you need it, buy it, but otherwise don't buy it. I'm not a good salesperson.
No, you're not.
I'm not a good salesperson.
You need to convince everyone that they can't live without it.
Okay, how do we say you can't live without this? It can carry cold drinks, your water, your electrolytes,
You could put wine in it.
You could put wine in it. This is correct.
I don't know why there's wine in the fridge. But there is.
And whoo, so sexy. And all right, good night. I love the plum shaker bottle. I'll take that. And Greg says he's already got 2. And Greg says you're the responsible one. I don't think so. And Amber says she needs a new one. Amber, yay! And then I sold one.
Perfect. 799 to go.
It's fine. We'll sell them on Amazon.
Yeah. They'll go once Keto Chow comes back.
Once Keto Chow comes back, it'll be fine. So, and they don't go bad. They don't expire.
No.
So, all right, you guys. And then, oh my God, Brie can't help it, honey. The marketer in Brie, she's like, they don't smell, which is common with other shaker bottles, which is true. Brie, you are right. You should be on those 3 a.m. Infomercials. Does anybody remember Shaun T? Hip hop abs? So I was in my workout class today, and hip hop abs was like a 3 a.m. thing where like this guy came and he was like, "You'll never have to do a crunch anymore," and he would like do hip hop abs, and I ordered the DVDs, and I never watched it. But yes, I like looked up Shaun T hip hop abs on YouTube, and my gym class, like all 6 of us, were like laughing about Shaun T.
Do we have those DVDs somewhere?
We probably have those DVDs.
Cool.
That say hip hop abs that I never did. We should do them tonight.
We don't own a DVD player.
This is true. All right. Lori says she's going to miss this. Good night, all. And then, all right. And then, love blender bottles. Rounded bottom. Brie. Brie, you should be with me on this line. Rounded bottom. Yes, it is true. It's a rounded bottom. Ooh. That's what he said. Okay, we really shouldn't say this one. All right. But do the hip hop after the bar across the street.
It's going to be a long night.
Oh my gosh, Shalini says she did hip hop abs.
Oh God.
There you go. I'm not alone, Shalini. I'm not alone. All right, guys.
All right.
We will talk to you soon. We love you. Thank you so much. Peace. See you soon. See you on the other side. Flip the switch. Okay, let's do it. Let's do a dramatic close. Flipped. We flipped it. Yes. Night, night. Bye, guys. Bye. Greg says I need to get off the live stream now.
You really do.
Okay, bye. Bye.